Hello everyone and welcome to Azam Weekly. This video is brought to you by my new course Swift Data Bootcamp, a comprehensive guide to building data-driven applications. Now this is a 9+ hours course on Swift Data Framework. Let's go ahead and check out the contents. You can see there's a special pricing going on. The regular price is $119, but you can get it for just $89 if you buy it before 14th of December. Now, check out the syllabus over here. We're going to start with the new SwiftUI state management changes. Then you're going to go into getting started with Swift Data. Always good idea to just get started with something, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show it to you how you can do that. Then you're going to learn about one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship, understanding queries, dynamic queries, and also static queries, versioning, migration, persisting changes or like genre and filtering based on genre, which are enums, and also transformable properties, like if you want to store some complex object like UI color, how do you do that? Testing, very important topic, I'm going to cover that. Syncing with iCloud using CloudKit. Also integrating Swift Data with UIKit applications. And then storing binary data using Swift Data. So images, how to store images in Swift Data. And also migrating core data apps to Swift Data. So that's a lot of content, 9+ hours of content that you can get. Make sure to check out this course. The link will be right there in the YouTube description. So hopefully you'll enjoy the course, and thank you so much. Now let's go back to the video. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started with implementing our simple to-do list application using Swift Data. Now, there will be some other parts like part 2 where we will cover the delete functionality and some other functionalities. But in this part, in the first part, I do want to cover how to add an item to the to-do list, make sure that it saves to SQLite database using Swift Data, and display it at least. All right. Okay. So this is our content view. We haven't really written any line of code. This is just the default stuff. What I'm going to do is, since I want to save a to-do item, that will become our model. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a model representing the to-do item. So when you're saving a to-do item, what do you need in a to-do item? Well, for starting out, we can have a title for the to-do item, like a title, and a property which is like it's completed, which is simply saying if the to-do item is completed or not. Since we're doing this in Swift Data, the first thing that we need to do is to make sure that we import Swift Data. And now I can create a class called to-do item, and making sure that that class is decorated with the model macro. And that's the important part, that it is decorated with the model macro. And this model macro can only be applied to classes, not structs. So if I change this to struct, you will see that it's not going to work. I mean, even if I go ahead and create an initializer, there we go. I mean, it doesn't really have any property, and I try to build it, the build actually fails because it is telling you that it needs to be a class and not a struct. Not a big deal. We can go ahead and change it into a class. Now, in the to-do item, we do need to have some properties that we want to save. So a title and it's completed would be good. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a title. And it's completed, which will be Boolean. Okay, let's remove that from there. Now I've added those two properties, but we still don't really have the initializer. So I'm going to go ahead and add the initializer. And for is completed, whenever you create a to-do item, is completed is always false. So we're just going to pass in false over here as the default value. So if you don't pass in is completed, it will be false. Let's go ahead and build it. Okay, so that's good. So this is a very simple model that we have created. It has a title, that we want to save. It has is completed, which can be true or false since it's Boolean. And it is decorated with a model macro. So the model macro in Swift data is created so that we know, or Xcode knows, or the Swift data knows, that this particular to-do item class is a special class and it needs to be persisted into the database. And by default, Swift data uses SQLite database. That's the data store it uses. The next thing would be to go to our content view and create something that will allow us to add that item. All right. So some sort of an interface. So we will start with creating a text field. And I can say enter title. And that value is going to go to a state property called title. Now, we don't really have any state variables. So let's go ahead and create a state variable. There we go. Great. And now I can go ahead, not sure why it's saying, maybe I'm missing something. Let's go ahead and build it. It's always a weird, kind of hard to see what I'm missing. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. Oh, I was missing one of those things. So kind of hard to see sometimes that what you're missing, but here we go. So we'll use the text field and enter title for the task. And that's going to go to the title. And state, we're going to create the state variable, which will be title, which will be a string. And there we go. So at least at this point, we will have a text field, which is going to say enter title. Now I can go ahead and decorate this in a different way, like text field style can be like rounded border. I can also go ahead and use a spacer to push everything up so that the text field is a little bit up. You can see that. Okay. Now, whenever we type something in the text field and we press return, it is at that time that we can insert a particular item to the database using Swift data. So where should we write that code? Right? I mean, there are many different ways and many different places where we can write that code. Now, some of you might be thinking that, okay, now it's time to add a view model and we can write all of that code in the view model. The problem is that Swift data and also core data doesn't really work nicely with view models. And the reason is that a lot of the different property wrappers like fetch request in core data and query, the property wrappers, they only work inside the view. And once again, the views which are in Swift UI are actually view models. Now, I'm not saying that you should be writing all of your logic inside over here in the view. Well, that will be very hard to test it out and reuse it. But things like adding, deleting, if they are not really doing any logic and they're just simply persisting, then you can just write it over here as I'll show you. But even you can move them out somewhere else, but usually I end up writing it right inside the view as I'll show you. Okay. So on submit over here, what should we do? Well, save to do item. Now I can write all the code inside the on submit if I want to, but I'm just creating a separate function, even though that function will only be available to the content view. So I'll say save to do item. And you'll see that the function doesn't really do much. I mean, it's going to go ahead and create an instance of the to do item. That's the class that we created. We can just simply go ahead and pass in the title. Make sure you validate the title, make sure it's not empty and all that stuff. And the next thing would be to actually save it. Now, in order to save it, we will need to access something called a model context. So I'll go to the content view, and this is only for the previews. We will need to do the same thing when we are actually working on the simulator or on the real device. We'll have to do things a little bit differently. And I'll inject, not this, the model container. So over here, you will see that model container doesn't really even come up. And the reason is that we have to import Swift data. And now, hopefully, the model container is going to come up. So model container, you can see that it does have a lot of different overloads. The one that we're going to use is the last one, model container for, and we can pass in the persistent model. So basically over here, we can pass in our model that we have created, the type of the model that we have created. The only model that we have created is to-do item. So make sure you pass in the type, not the to-do item instance, but the type, meaning self. And that's it. All right, that's all you need to do. Once you pass it or inject it into the content view, it will be available and you can access it through the use of the environment. So we can say model context, and now you will have access to the context. There we go. And now if you want to insert something, like you want to actually save something, then simply you need to insert it using the insert model or insert and to-do item. And you don't really have to call the save function. There is a save function that is available, but you don't really have to call it. The Swift UI itself is automatically going to call it. All right. And that's pretty much it. That's literally all the code that you need to save an instance into or save a to-do item to the database. All right. But we also need to list the item, right? I mean, we want to show the item. So in those cases, what I'm going to do inside the VStack is fine, but that's completely up to you, whatever thing that you want to do, like whatever the UI you want to create. So we need to fetch all the to-do items that you have saved. And the way that you fetch all the to-do items is by using this query. Now, if I go ahead and check out this query at query, you can see that this is a new query macro that is available in iOS 17. And this is similar to, if you remember, fetch request in core data. It's similar to that, but very powerful because query is not only going to fetch the items, but it's also going to refetch them if you change the context. If the database changes and updates, it's automatically going to fetch that stuff. So which is pretty cool. You don't really have to be doing anything. And that's all you need to do. Like simply go ahead and create a query. You can call this anything you want, like to-do items is fine. And now if I want to display something, I'm simply going to go over here, use a list, to-do items. I'll get a to-do item in text to-do item dot title. And that's literally it. So right now we can run the application, it will work. Usually what people do when at least they're working with previews is they don't really want to persist it to the database. So they can also pass in memory just for the previews, true. This means that whenever you're using previews and you're writing something to the previews or adding something or deleting or whatever, those changes will be lost when the previews are run again. So maybe you want that, maybe you don't. It really depends on your use case. So now let's go ahead and save an item. So I'm going to go to my previews and I'm going to say mow the lawn. And this is the thing that I'm talking about. Whenever I add a new item, mow the lawn, it basically inserted it into the context and then it was saved to SQLite database through the use of Swift data. And since those changes are happening to the context, the to-do items, which is decorated with a query macro, automatically runs again and then fetches the data and give you the most updated data. So you don't have to insert something to the database, like using the insert, and then say, oh yeah, I need to fetch it again. No, you don't have to do that. This is reactive programming. So in reactive programming, it's something is going to happen, and on reaction of that, you can get those things back easily. All right. So that's why it's always a good idea to use all of these macros and property wrappers that are provided to you by Swift UI framework like query and fetch request, especially also when you're doing with CloudKit syncing. I mean, it really reduces a lot of work for you. All right. Now, one of the things we can do is also when you add an item and once the item is done, you can go ahead and set the title to be empty. So let's go over here and add another item. Mow the lawn. There we go. And now I can go ahead and add more items. Let's say clean the car, and then feed the rabbit, and then feed the cat, and so on. So you can see all of these items are actually being added, which is pretty cool, right? Now, if you run the actual app in the simulator or on your device, if I go ahead and select the device and try to run it, it's not really going to run as expected. All right. The reason is that the model container, which allows you to access the context, and the context is the thing that is keeping track of all the changes, it's only injected in the previews. It's not really available when you actually run the app in a simulator or when you try to run the app on the real device. So you may see some weird stuff printed out in the output window once it is running, that it's not able to locate the container or the context. And let's go ahead and see. Here we go. See that? On the output window, it's saying set a model context in views environment to use query. So basically it's saying that, well, I don't really have access to the model context. So for that, and for your actual app when it's running, make sure that you go to Simple To Do app, and right over here we can inject it. So I can go ahead and say model container, and I can pass in the type. So in this case, it's to-do item.self. All right. And now if I run this, and one thing that you note over here when I'm passing in the model container, when I'm using model container, I am not using in memory, because when I'm running it on the real device or using the simulator, I don't really want it to disappear when you run the app again. I actually want it to persist. So now let's go ahead and say mow the lawn, and let's say feed the rabbit. Okay, so we added two different things. Now if I go ahead and stop this and start this again, you can see mow the lawn, feed the rabbit are still there. So they are actually persisted into the database. All right, so that's pretty cool that we are able to do that. Now, this video is already getting a little bit long, but what I want to do eventually in the next videos is so that we can add a filter. I mean, whenever we are adding an item over here, mow the lawn, and these are to-do items. So if they are to-do item, we should probably add like a checkbox over here, and we should add a segmented control where you can say, oh, this is completed items, and this is like not completed items. So you can filter based on those things. So we need to do all of that stuff, and deleting items, updating items, all of that stuff we need to figure out. But at least this will be a good point for you to start working on this and to start checking out. All right. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. And once again, the link to my course is right there in the YouTube description. There's a special deal going on, so make sure you check out the course too. Thank you.